So, some stuff that I would love to talk about. One thing, wrestling. I used to love watching wrestling. I used to watch it all the time. Stone Cold, Undertaker, and Mankind, the Rock over here, Farouk, Bradshaw, the New Age Outlaws, D-Generation X, everything that had to be included with wrestling. But that's not where it all started. It started with Macho Man Randy Savage, the Steam, what was his name? Ricky Steamboat, and Hulk Hogan, and in the later years of '96 to '97, it changed. The wrestling business really changed, and the thing that changed it was the form of the NWO. So let's talk about the two organizations that changed wrestling forever. Now, let's just say it right now. I don't watch wrestling as much as I used to because I don't know. I can't. I can watch an old school wrestling match, like any kind of old school wrestling match there is, but pretty much watch a new episode of Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view. No, I think it's really just basketball, football, and pretty much baseball. It, you know, it's not because all these wrestlers are not wrestling anymore. Wrestling was great. It was an awesome way to just enjoy yourself. And I know everybody tells you the same thing, and I'm not going to repeat it because it's stupid. It's really stupid. Because they'll tell you over and over and over and over. But the thing is, if you enjoy something and you really like to watch it, then do it. Watch it. Watch wrestling. But this is not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about NWO and D-Generation X. Two groups that were formed to go against each other. Not on the same organizations of wrestling, because NWO was WCW. And it was formed by Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and the mystery guy, Hulk Hogan. And the thing about, and it all went down in 1996 at Summer Bash. Because Sting, Lex Luthor, and Randy Macho Man Randy Savage were wrestling against Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and they were beating each other up, just smacking each other around, having a great match, having a match that was interesting because there was supposed to be a third member of Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and then it looks like Randy Macho Man Savage, the one that goes, "Oh yeah," was down on the ground, and it looks like he's coming to save Mr. Randy Macho Man Savage. But no. He does the famous leg drop and gives you the big middle finger to all the wrestling world. And the wrestling world was shocked because Hulk Hogan was the champion of good guys. He was always the good guy in wrestling. And this brought a new dimension to what wrestling was. This brought a whole new level of what wrestling was. This was the new era of wrestling in WCW. And this is why WCW was on top for a long time and just destroying WWF. And I know it's WWE, but I'm not going to say it. I'm sorry. WWF is always the thing that I'm thinking in my head, but that's another story for another time. But anyways, and they were dominating. And the NWO grew in a portion. They grew leaps and bounds. Every every time. And there were so many members, and they just dominated WCW. I think Bischoff was thinking, Eric Bischoff, the one who was in charge of WCW, to just renaming WCW to NWO Wrestling, and I don't know. I think later on in the years after WWF came back and put Shawn Michaels and Triple H together, and China, God rest her soul, and Randy Macho Man, God rest his soul too. That they had the Nation of Domination with The Rock when he took over, when he got Farouk out, and they just had Stone Cold. They had just stories that were better and just were more entertaining, because you're getting the same thing with NWO. It was the same thing. It was just the same thing every time, and I think that was the downfall of WCW, because they were just trying too hard, but they made history, and the history of the NWO and the history of WCW with the NWO is something that will always be on every wrestling fan's mind, even if they're young or new. Even if you have kids, if I have kids someday, I'm gonna tell them about NWO D-Generation X. If they get into wrestling, I don't know. I don't, because I think they should know the history of what wrestling was. But NWO just made wrestling interesting. D-Generation X made wrestling interesting. The Nation of Domination, and I thank you guys for doing that, because you made wrestling entertaining for my years when I was in high school and junior high and elementary, and when I was a little kid. And I'm thinking, if we never had the NWO or the D-Generation X, where would the wrestling business be? We don't know. We don't know. I have no idea where it would be. I don't even have an idea of where it would be today. So let's just say thank you for giving us some great stories. Awesome, radical, cowabunga.